ACMi productions are only made possible with your support. Visit patreon.com/ACMi to learn how you can help.
Book lovers get their own library passport. The Feast of Saint Agrippina returns to the North End, and the Boston French Film Fest turns 30.
From McLennan Park to Spy Pond, from Poets Corner to the Mystic River, we have Arlington covered, giving you stories that count, from people who care. Reliable, trustworthy, dependable. This is the nationwide award-winning ACMi News.
The Minuteman Library Network has 60 locations serving Metro West Massachusetts communities, and I've probably ordered books from just about every one of them by now. Hello everyone, I'm James Milan.
And I'm Daniel Lipoff. The network, which includes Arlington's Robbins Library and the Fox branch, held a library crawl from August 3rd to the 8th, where participants could collect stamps and a passport for the chance to win a prize.
The Minuteman Library Network is made up of 41 libraries in the Metro West area. Each year, the network holds the Minuteman Library Crawl, a scavenger hunt where residents can travel from library to library, searching for clues in each one. The libraries provide passports where participants can get a stamp for each library along the crawl that they visit.
It's a chance to visit libraries that maybe you haven't visited before, and it just gets the community involved.
This year, I decided to participate in the crawl and see how many libraries I could get to.
The first stop on the library crawl today will be Arlington's very own Robbins Library, where we're looking for the bees. The beehives. Third floor balcony. Let's go. There's actual bees here. He's really cute.
I think it just exposes people to things they might not have known that each library offers, because every library offers something different and unique. They're really good community spaces. Our little clue was to find one of our bookmobile magnets around the library. And I think it's just a chance to see people see, wow, what is a bookmobile? It's another thing we offer.
Thank you so much for coming along with me today. I'm Sarah Kachi reporting for ACMi.
A truly inspired way to get introverts to travel to new places.
The global K-pop sensation BTS performed at a sold-out, of course, Gillette Stadium for the first time ever on August 5th and 6th. The international group are returning after a mandatory hiatus with their tour titled Arirang, making them the first K-pop headliners at Gillette Stadium. Chock-a-block with immersive experiences, limited edition merchandise, and a 360-degree stage for the benefit of fans in the nosebleed sections, the BTS concert was not only an historic event, it was an incredible memory maker.
The town of Arlington is looking for 4 residents volunteers to join the Broadway Corridor Redesign Committee. The committee is tasked with collaborating with the town's consultant to produce plans to improve the thoroughfare that connects Davis Square to Arlington Center. Improvements may include separated bike lanes, bus queue jumps, center medians, and even bile retention gardens. Meetings will take place for once a month for at least a year, and if you're interested in serving, send a resume and a letter of interest to the Director of Planning and Community Development, Claire Ricker, at cricker@town.arlington.ma.us. Applications are due August 14th.
Here's a question for you, Dan. Do you know the difference between the ACAC, the ACA, and the AAC? I know it sounds like the setup for a bad joke, but really, people in town couldn't say some.
Well, even for the topics that we think we understand, like diversity, equity, and inclusion, most Arlingtonians probably don't realize the full scope of the town's DEI division. To clarify DEI today, let's head over to our cultural correspondent, Swaga Jha.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Arlington Abbreviated. I'm Swaga Jha, and our topic for today is Arlington's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, or DEI division. The town of Arlington's DEI division, led by Director Ramcha Baloch, works to foster a welcoming, inclusive, and equitable community for everyone who lives, works, visits, and learns in Arlington. Through collaboration with town departments, schools, community organizations, and residents, the division helps to ensure that equity and inclusion are considered in town policies, programs, and services. The DEI division focuses on a number of key areas, including community engagement, education and training, policy development, and support for equity initiatives across Arlington. The office organizes educational programs and community conversations, provides resources and trainings on topics such as bias and inclusion, and partners with local organizations to celebrate the town's diverse cultures and identities, such as partnering with students at Arlington High School to host Multicultural Night this past April. The division also works closely with town leadership boards and commissions to identify barriers to equity and recommend strategies that create more accessible and inclusive opportunities for all members of the community. Our DEI division supports community groups by providing the resources needed to turn ideas into reality. Whether you need help building connections for an event, securing funding, or bringing a new initiative to life, our DEI division can help make it happen. If you're interested in learning more, participating in upcoming events, or accessing DEI resources, information can be found on the Town of Arlington's website, arlingtonma.gov/DEI.
Mass Save is a collaborative effort between 6 major energy resource companies that include Berkshire Gas, Eversource, and National Grid. Their stated goal is to deliver energy solutions that are affordable for Massachusetts residents. And good news for Arlington residents, Mass Save has expanded eligibility for no-cost heat pumps to residents that currently heat with oil, propane, or electric resistance. I recently talked with DPCD Director Claire Ricker to get an update on the expansion.
No-cost heat pumps are now available to qualifying one-person Arlington households with incomes below $96,000, two-person households below $109,700, and four-person households below $137,100. Income ranges for households of other sizes are available. Both renters and homeowners can qualify. Mass Save also offers no-cost weatherization, which is insulation and air sealing, to low and moderate income households, to rental properties, and any 2 to 4 unit building if all of those units are weatherized at the same time. The town's Electrify Arlington program can help residents and landlords learn more about these opportunities or anything else related to energy in their homes.
Visit Electrify Arlington's website for more information about the program. And you can watch the full DPCD update on ACMi News YouTube page. Now, in more local government news, Arlington's Select Board was presented with an updated draft for the combined sewer overflows control plan by the Massachusetts Water Resources Authority on July 27th. The meeting broke down the MWRA's current plans to address sewage that has impacted East Arlington residents living beside the Alewife Brook, the endpoint of a number of Cambridge and Somerville sewer systems. The Select Board repeatedly voiced their concerns about the plans, especially regarding impacts to residents' health and the length of the project.
The Arlington ratepayers have paid for the I&I system that you've insisted that we do for rainwater. We've paid for the Boston Harbor cleanup and continue to, because in this you have the sewage elimination in the Boston Harbor, who have paid for when you brought on member communities into the Quabbin area, because that helps, more communities, and it's good to MWRA. We've all paid that, and we really feel like it's our turn now. So how do we eliminate the public health issue and get MWRA to acknowledge that?
If you believe that we should spend the $6 billion to eliminate them, that's an appropriate comment to provide to DEP and EPA. Our obligation in the planning process as responsible public agency is to evaluate all the alternatives, all the costs and impacts of all the alternatives. We've arrived at what we think is a plan which substantially reduces overflows into all 3 water bodies, which is the first in the nation to acknowledge that the future is different than the past, and which we think appropriately balances those issues.
The issues at the Alewife Brook impact all Arlington residents, so we recommend sharing any of your experiences with the CSOS while the public comment period is open until September 30th. Visit the MWRA website or local advocacy groups such as Save the Alewife Brook to learn how to submit your comments.
Democratic Governor's Counselor Maura Dolan is up for re-election this September. Recently, she hosted a meet and greet with some constituents.
I'm running on promises kept and challenges met. I told you that I was running to be the first full-time public defender in the Governor's Council because I thought that was a perspective that we badly needed. And I was right. I told you that I would make sure that all nominees would use every tool that the law allows to end systemic racism, and that is what I do.
Dolan is the first ever public defender elected to the Governor's Council, the group that selects the Superior Court judges in the Commonwealth, and the only group with veto power over the governor in the state. In this meet and greet, Dolan emphasized her stance on abortion rights, allowing recording in court proceedings where ICE agents are present, and she took questions from the public. Dolan was joined by State Representative David Rogers and Middlesex County Sheriff Peter Katujan. Dolan is set to face fellow Democrat Margie Palladino in the state election on September 1st.
Wright-Locke Farm, known for their organic plants, educational experiences, historic preservation, and environmentally conscious activities, is wrapping up their summer family farm nights, where people of all ages are welcome to come together and listen to local musicians.
So Family Farm Night is one of our most beloved events here at the farm. It happens only 4 times a year in the summertime, 4 Tuesdays in a row in succession, and it's free, and we always have live music, we have snacks for sale, people pack a picnic, and it's the one time a year where people can just come out to the farm, enjoy a fun summer evening at no cost to anybody, and it's just a great time for people to meet their neighbors and friends and hang out at the farm.
This is my 3rd or 4th year playing here, and my family gets to come out because it's early and all these families, our whole community is here. I recognize so many of the people, and it's just a really great event. Beautiful weather, couldn't have asked for anything better.
Keeps my eyes open, most of the day. That's you, my memory. Things that people say.
We have one more Family Farm Night coming up next Tuesday. It's our last one of the season. So that is a really important one if you're around. And that one is a kid band. So if you have little ones, it's a great one to come to. We also have Oktoberfest coming up September 27th. And that is much like our Family Farm Night, but there's like a lot more food. There's beer. And it's just that we have 4 different bands that rotate every hour. So it's a really huge, fun festival. And it's a beautiful time to be at the farm. We do farm talks here because at the core of our mission is education, public education, and our theme this year is sustainability in 2026. And we have a talk coming up on September 15th about green buildings. And one of the things you might notice that we just put on our All Seasons barn is solar panels. And our farm is almost fully run on solar. So we really like to educate the public about sustainability, about natural energy sources. And those farm talks are also free and open to the public.
Soft and low, so I can see when I got nowhere to go. Hanging with them, good time passing by. Hanging with them, good time passing by. When I hand me a nickel, they ask me for a dime, and then I catch their pedestrian and ride.
As a nonprofit, obviously we couldn't afford to hire a band and do all of this on our own. So without with sponsorship from companies like You Can Do It Gardening, Winchester Cooperative Bank, Anka, 90+ sellers who also donated all of the wine for this evening, without those kinds of companies supporting us, we wouldn't be able to put such a fun-free event on for the public.
If If Oktoberfest sounds like it's your speed, or if you're interested in any other Wright-Locke Farm events, check out their website, wlfarm.org.
Well, James, it's been so humid out lately, it feels like I'm practically swimming.
I couldn't agree with you more, my friend. I'm hoping our colleague will have some good news to share in that way. Let's head over to Francisca Badulla for more on the weather.
Thanks, guys. Yes, this past week we've definitely had to trade in our swimsuits for some rain jackets. But the closer we get to the end of the week, the closer we get to having some sweet relief from the humidity. Saturday will be mostly sunny and hot, with a high near 90. However, if you're heading to the Charles River for the annual Jazz Festival, you may find yourself in a bit of trouble between 4 to 8 p.m. There's a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms rolling in, which might shift the tempo. But don't fret, because Sunday will be finishing the weekend on a high note. Clear skies and sunshine with temperatures in the 90s will accompany us as we enter the work week. Monday, we're starting off the week strong and hot. Wind gusts will reach as high as 20 miles per hour to cool you down and bring in an overnight storm between 11 p.m. and midnight. Now, the storm will carry well into Tuesday, so be sure to keep your windshield wipers on, or maybe even keep your plans indoors. There's a 30% chance of scattered thunderstorms throughout the day from 11 a.m. to 8 at night. Finally, Wednesday is when we really start to see the weather clear up. It'll be mostly sunny with a high near 84 and a low of 65. And luckily, those temperatures are here to stay. The 80s are dominating those daytime highs as we reach the tail end of the week. And that's all for the weather. I'll be handing it over to Josh Gishri for Beyond the Score.
Thanks, Francisca. There's a lot of baseball news this week, so let's dive in. After a historic opening weekend for the brand new Women's Pro Baseball League, the Boston Hunters are at the bottom of the standings, losing their first two games 11-3 and 12-4 against the San Francisco Firebells and the Los Angeles Queens, respectively. From men's baseball, things are looking a bit better amid an eventful trade deadline. The Red Sox traded catcher Carlos Narvaez, 3 minor league players, and a player to be determined in return for Orioles catchers Jake Rogers and Adley Rutschman, the latter of whom was the first overall pick in the 2019 draft and a 3-time All-Star. The Sox, as a team, have been doing incredibly well recently, winning 21 out of 25 games in July, making it the best month in club history. They've also won 30 out of 35 games since June 25th and 9 consecutive series. Plus, they have hit a home run every game since July 26th, rounding out to 18 homers in the past 9 games, a stark increase from 98 homers over their first 104 games this season. And that's all this week for Beyond the Score. James, Daniel, back to you.
From late July through August, the streets of Boston's North End are overrun with Italian feasts celebrating different saints with live music, parades, and of course, delicious food.
Starting July 30th and ending August 2nd, Saint Agrippina de Mineo was honored as the patron of thunderstorms and evil spirits, which is a perfect juxtaposition to all the smiling faces.
This past weekend, the North End celebrated its 112th annual Saint Agrippina de Mineo feast. Saint Agrippina was a princess who, after being tortured to death, was venerated as a patron saint of thunderstorms, leprosy, and evil spirits. The feast celebrates the voyage of Saint Agrippina's body from the city of Rome to the island of Sicily. The voyage itself was thought to be blessed by God due to the swiftness of the journey, as well as the safety blessed to those carrying her body as they traveled. The feast spanned 2 streets in the North End, and attendees enjoyed delicious Italian food, live music, and a life-size statue of Saint Agrippina, which was carried throughout the streets by 20 men. The Saint Agrippina feast happens annually, and is always free to enter, so if you missed it this year, don't worry. Go out and support this wonderful event next summer, and be sure to visit the North End for the rest of the annual feast happening all throughout August.
There's 4 more feasts in North End this summer, and all of them are free and open to the public.
Allons-y! From now until August 23rd, the Museum of Fine Arts Boston is showcasing a wide range of French cinema, including mysteries, drama, and even animation for the 30th Boston French Film Festival. Films are slated for different times on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, so check on the MFA website to see what's playing and when. MFA members also save some money on their tickets, so if you needed another reason to sign up, there it is. This year, the Boston French Film Festival is focusing on, surprise, French art, identity, and cultural memory in contemporary cinema.
Progressive socialist Abdul El Sayed has won the Democratic primary for Senate in Michigan against incumbent Haley Stevens. It was a close election, with El Sayed winning by only a 1% margin.
What a race. In the words of Muhammad Ali, we shook up the world.
This was one of the most highly contested Senate primaries this election, with El Sayed winning by only 15,000 votes. El Sayed led the polls when they closed and was able to hold on to that lead until the projection was announced. Haley Stevens conceded the election on Wednesday in a statement on her website, congratulating her opponent and offering her support for the general election. El Sayed will face off against Republican Mike Rogers in November, and if he wins, he will become the first Muslim senator in U.S. history.
In his continued effort to showcase Arlington as a learning town, ACMi member Michael Armanius ventured out to Arlington's Thompson School to bear witness to the National Night Out on Tuesday, August 4th.
National Night Out at Thompson School Park was more than a celebration. It was a powerful reminder of what makes our town truly special. On this night, neighbors came together, laughter echoed across the park, and friendships were forged. Young and old, we all found ways to connect, learn, and support one another. These moments of joy are the building blocks of a vibrant, engaged community. Arlington's first responders are more than public safety professionals. They're lifelong learners. Many are pursuing higher education and professional development while serving our town with excellence. Their commitment to growth sets a powerful example, showing us that learning doesn't end with school, it's a lifelong journey. Events like National Night Out remind us Arlington is a true learning town. Here, everyone, kids, parents, first responders, and neighbors embrace opportunities to learn, grow, and give back. Together, we're building a future where knowledge and compassion light the way.
Thank you to the APD, AFD, local organizations, and every resident who came out to Thompson to show their support.
If your palate is craving a fine dining experience, Dine Out Boston is now serving. From August 1st to the 15th, Meet Boston's highly anticipated semi-annual restaurant week is the perfect opportunity to sample participating restaurants' culinary crafts through prix menus at multiple price points, excluding tax and gratuities. No passes, tickets, or coupons are required, but reservations are strongly recommended. To carve out time for your next meal, visit dineoutboston.com and send our compliments to the chef.
Tanzanian-American filmmaker, producer, and screenwriter Ekwa Msangi's film Farewell Amor premiered in competition at the 2020 Sundance Film Festival. ACMi news correspondent Lydia Chen spoke with her about her creative journey and experiences in filmmaking.
So what first inspired you to create Farewell Amor?
Farewell Amor was inspired by a relationship of an aunt and uncle of mine who had been separated for over 20 years. When I was thinking about this story, it was sort of the what if. What if they were, Auntie's visa came through and they were able to reunite, and I had this vision of my uncle at the airport waiting for them to show up. Mm-hmm. And what would he say, and what would he wear, and what would they talk about? Mm-hmm. And at the time that I wrote it, I was deeply involved in a lot of dance, specifically Kizomba dancing, which is a style of dance from Angola. And I just really fell in love with the culture and the music, and the way in which one has to rely on your partner when you are dancing in order to do the dance. And I just thought that was an interesting metaphor for, a couple. So it is a story about the reunion of this family and the use of dance as a way to rediscover themselves and each other.
Yeah. As a director, how do you think about visual language? When you develop the story, what things that you want to show by dialogue? What they want to show by the actors' actions?
I try to show more than I tell as much as possible. You know, it's a visual medium. It's also a sound medium. And by sound, I mean in terms of like the sound design and the music. That's really important to me, more than the dialogue. I think, you know, the lies are in the dialogue. The truth is in the actions. And so that's something that I try to live by.
Msangi's career demonstrates how an idea drawn from everyday life can grow into a meaningful film through a clear, creative vision and a distinctive voice. For emerging filmmakers, her journey is a reminder that authentic storytelling and persistence can create new opportunities.
And that'll do it for this week's edition of ACMi News. Have a story you want us to cover? Know about an upcoming community event? Share your ideas by writing us at the address on the upcoming screen. For ACMi News, I'm Daniel Lipoff.
And I'm James Milan, and before we sign off, I'd like to say a few words. And that's because this is a special newscast in some ways, in that it is the last newscast of our team of summer interns for this year. You have noticed, if you've been watching ACMi News, I'm sure, a bunch of fresh faces like the one next to me and those who you heard from earlier in the broadcast. And there are faces back in the control room who you don't know, but who have been just as important to creating what has been a magical summer here at ACMi and for ACMi News. This group of interns leaves now having left and transformed, I should say, they will leave an ACMi that has been transformed by their presence, including new features in the newscast that we hope to continue going forward, and a wonderful experience for everybody. So to Josh Gishri for excellent stewardship of a very talented group of kids who came in with high expectations and then exceeded them. I want to thank them and congratulate them, and we really look forward to seeing what happens with them in the future, because things will be happening, we're sure. So I want to, with that, move to ask you to enjoy this last clip as we go out from our summer music sessions, I should say, brought to you by Lydia Chen, and we'll see you next time.
You can always check out our latest segments and newscasts on the web at acmi.tv/news. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ACMi News. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You'll find us at youtube.com/ACMi News. If you have any news tips for us or wish to become a citizen journalist, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at news@acmi.tv or stop by ACMI Studio A at 85 Park Avenue.